So we back once
Okay.
again. This is
That's
Willie.
right. It's Willie and Iz, and we here going in as usual. 5 days before the election, Mr. Willie. What's happening, man?
Uh,
Everything's going crazy.
it is crazy now. I think within this 5 days, just since the last time we talked, it has amped up even more so.
Yeah.
So I was listening to uh, Miles Taylor, the guy
Hmm.
that was anonymous, that wrote that
Oh
op-ed. So
yeah.
I listened to him last night, and so he was, he was on Anderson Cooper and Chris Como.
Okay.
So Chris said, "Well, you know what? The last time you was on Anderson, we asked you, are you the one?
Yeah.
And you said, no, it's not me." He said, "So right off the bat, why should we believe you now?" And
Credibility.
uh, I think he had definitely prepared himself for all the blowback he was going to receive because they already had asked him several times. But what he said was so compelling because his uh, his theory was if I just don't admit that it's me, I just want to see if Donald Trump is going to continue down the path that he's been going and see would he even make any kind of change in
Yeah.
his tactic. And he said he's actually gotten worse. He said when you look at the dynamic of his administration, he says it's like 80-20. And
Hmm.
the 20% are just those, his thugs he brought into his administration.
Yeah.
And the other 80%, he says, so pretty much 80% of those guys think like Taylor was thinking.
Yeah.
Uh, Man, some of the stuff he was saying, Trump was saying about, let's take the kids on the border.
Hmm.
He said, Trump said, like, why can't we just gas them?
Yeah.
And he was like, are you serious? He said the whole room just went like, what? He said, like, yeah, why can't we gas them? They said, well, Mr. President, you can't do that. That's just against the Geneva Convention. It's inhumane. He said, well, what about why don't we just kind of just shoot those guys in the leg to deter them from crossing the border?
Yeah.
They were saying like you can't do that. He said,
Yeah.
but
No, he's an authoritarian for sure.
yeah, and he was saying like he said this guy is so close under the ideology of Hitler that it's not even
Mhm.
funny.
No, yeah, with gassing, just that alone.
Yeah,
Who thinks like that?
just
Who
mention
thinks
the
like that?
word,
Yeah.
just
That's-
mention that thought.
And so
So
you have people on the other side that are Christian or religious. I want to say Christians, just
yeah,
religious in general.
I have my doubts about that.
Yeah, no, but in their minds they justify the fact that, oh, he's pro-life. How's he pro-life? He's talking about killing kids. How's he pro-life talking about shooting somebody in the leg? They're gonna probably shoot people in the head. Oh, I missed. Guess what? Then it's not gonna matter to them. Are you
No,
pro-life or you're not? You can't have it both ways, and that's the problem I have with people who say that they are, oh, I'm for Trump because God's backing him, or God bless Donald Trump. When he goes against everything, all the seven deadly sins, he epitomizes all of them.
I mean, to 100% accuracy. It's to the point. And, going back to the pro-lifers,
Yeah.
here's what always got me about pro-lifers. I remember the guy that I think he was out in Kansas that was blowing up all the abortion clinics.
Oh yeah, remember that.
And I'm going like, yeah, but you're killing people. But yet you saying, well,
He's pro-life.
I'm pro-life. I mean, like, that's just like saying I'm a little bit pregnant.
Yeah.
I mean, like, really? Are you pregnant or you're not?
Yeah.
So it's just they find their way to actually get around to say anything they want to. My dad was so cool. He was a minister, and he always told us, he's like, look, son, read the Bible for yourself. Because if you let someone read it to you, they're going to interpret that scripture
Yeah.
exactly like they want you to understand it. So you need to read it for yourself. He says, so when you look at King James Version, you got to understand it was King James Version. And this is what we're getting with everything. It's their version of what God is saying to do. It's
Yeah.
their version of saying, like, oh, well, we pro-life and God. When I hear people say, God told me to do this, I'm saying, I just raise my hand like I'm in class, like teacher. Uh, Can you prove that God told you that? I mean, I can't prove that he didn't,
Yeah.
but can you prove that he did? And that's where we are. In everything, we only know what we know. It's the shit we don't know that we don't know. So
That's
we
the
don't
part.
know. That's the part that just makes me want to say I don't know anything because it's just so much I don't know.
That's
And when
true.
I look at this election, and I'm looking at uh, what was her name? The Amy. It just got
Oh yeah, she got
confirmation.
confirmed. Yeah, she got confirmed.
Yeah, I think you know. And here's how they play games with the American people. So what's her name? Susan. I,
Collins from Maine.
no,
Which one?
she's running a senator. Susan. I can't think of her last
Collins. Collins, right? Is she from Maine or she?
Collins. So she voted against Amy
Mhm.
because she knows she might lose that election coming up. So she would think like, well, she gonna get confirmed anyway. So I just make these people say, well, you know what? I really wasn't for her.
Yeah,
Well, it's too late now. You know, like
it was
all these.
today. It was I think it was today, and they had the debate with her and the person she's running against, and she's the one that said, "Do you believe systemic racism?" She said, "Yeah, but not here in Maine." What makes you so special? Because you're in the northeast. You're special because and
People like really in
nobody
in,
else.
in
You
Maine.
know that because you know everything. Yeah, I
It's
mean
almost
it may be true. Maine is up there, and who knows?
yeah,
You
but
know, I'm sure Maine is a great place to be, but I'm not trying to live there
I'm just not
myself.
saying that you don't believe in no systemic racism.
Yeah, that's what she said today.
So and then we're watching our president going out here now because he's really on the defense now. And
Oh
so
yeah.
he's pulling. I, I mean, he left those people in Nebraska out in the
Oh, I
cold.
heard about that. Yeah. Was it last night? So what happened? Last night he had his debate. Or not his debate. He had his speech, right? His
Yeah,
rally. He rallied them, but I guess they bust these people in from far away, from I guess a couple miles out where they left their car.
yeah. In
Put
the
them on a
freezing
bus.
cold.
Again, there's 230,000 people dead of COVID. He put them in a bus together. Half these people don't have masks. Maybe 90% of them didn't have masks, to be honest. Put them in a bus, bust them there, all crunched up, listening to him speak. He spoke. He left on his plane, warm,
Warm.
comfy, nice and warm. People out there freezing for hours, I heard. And then people went to the
Freezing.
hospital
It
to get
get to the
back on a
point.
bus. To get back on a bus, you
Just
get
get on
back.
the bus.
Yeah,
You know what?
that's
It has gotten to the point now for me. It's like, you know what? I already knew who Donald Trump was before he ran in 2016. So that was not the issue for me as far as disliking Trump.
yeah,
I'm thinking about those people in Nebraska. I'm saying like, but you know it's cold out. I
yeah,
mean, you in Nebraska, Omaha. It ain't
yeah,
Peyton Manning hollering to play. You
yeah.
know,
It's
like
almost November. It's winter time.
they were saying today on CNN that they're projecting that 82% of the people that went to his, his spreader are gonna come down with COVID. What do we have like 80,000 people today has contracted
Yeah,
this virus,
yeah. Just
and it's
today's the highest as of this recording. It's the highest it's been since the
yeah.
beginning of COVID. Yeah, since the
And
recording
what's
started
so
recording.
scary, man? This is when the virus strives in cold
Oh,
weather.
mhm.
This is like their summer for
Yep.
COVID. It just like, man, we going to bar. That's what it feel like for them.
Yeah.
And they were saying like, because now everything's going indoors. The air is drier. It's colder. I mean, just a
Mhm.
perfect playground. And
Yeah.
and he's still mocking people with masks. When your scientists are telling you, man, we don't have a vaccination, but this is the closest and the best thing we can do is social distance ourselves,
Mm.
do everything we can to sanitize ourselves, and wear a mask when you go out. You know, look at Justin Turner for the Dodgers.
Mm.
I'm
Oh
like,
yeah, I saw that.
and what was first I was saying like they were saying, well, we pulled him in the eighth inning. I said, like, well, if you waited to the eighth inning, you might well just go ahead and let him play now because
Yeah, for
the
the rest of
game's
the
over
game.
with. But then later on today, I come to find out, I don't even know how true it is just from listening to some
Hearsay. Yeah.
report. He knew the day before,
Mm.
and the NLB just said, like, well, you know what? because I'm not gonna say I wouldn't be like him. I'm saying like, man, I don't got to the World Series. I'm like 2 outs away from getting this ring,
Yeah.
and I done this for it. So he broke all protocol from
Yeah.
being isolated and went out there anyway. And then when he got on the field, he had his mask on, but he took that mask off because it didn't look
Yeah.
manly enough. And then he kissing people, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, shit. So we don't even know what the fallout's going to be from that.
Yeah.
So this virus is really nothing to play with. Um,
Yeah.
this
No,
virus is.
it's true.
Go ahead.
And what did he say? What did Trump say about it? Everybody's talking about is COVID, COVID, COVID. Why is everybody talking about COVID? What did Barack say? He's mad because COVID's getting more. He's getting more attention, more press. He said
That's
it's
how
getting more
pet.
press, so he's
That's
mad
how
at
petty
COVID.
he is. That's how petty he is. This is who I first.
Yeah.
And then I watched how he treated the lady from Arizona. Because they put her on the spot last week, and it was
Uh,
asking her, so what's your stance on Donald Trump? So she would never answer. She would say like, well, I'm just talking about my record and what I've done for. He said, we get that for, but what about Trump and how he has, his stance on the COVID? Well, I'm running around, and so she would never answer. So
yeah.
yesterday
Gangster.
she was there in the stands with him out there on the platform. So he knew that's what she done. So he said, "Yeah, we got Senator so and so here, and come on up here. You got 1 minute. Run, run, run. You got 1 minute." He didn't let her speak at all, bro. He treated her just like a little bitch. And we're like, wow. And he
Yeah.
laughed at her. But that's what he does with strong women. Anybody that
Mhm.
oppose anything that he has to say, uh, he really doesn't have any use for you at all. When I listened
Yeah.
at Tyler, man, some of the things this guy was saying, I could tell he was truthful in his statements, but it's like, but bruh, why didn't some of you guys just leave 2 years ago and kind of like spared us? John Bolton is another one. Come on, bro. We know you want to sell a book, but we
Yeah.
just lost more people than all the wars combined, and it looked like we're going to lose 200,000 more.
Yeah, and we'll see. And I think the next couple of days, you're going to see probably more people coming out.
Yeah.
Dr. Birx, the one that was, so she was with Fauci. Birx and Fauci were the two people within the that were on the COVID committee.
Mm-hmm.
So she's just distancing herself. She says she doesn't want to go to the White House, so she doesn't want to. She's playing it safe. She's trying to see how everything's going to go. But yeah, her too. She should probably said something beforehand. But I think at the same time, they weren't really playing the game with him. She was kind of,
Right.
her and
He
Fauci were kind of still trying to
Fauci
be like,
said
no,
he
here's
hasn't been
here's
to
what
a COVID.
science says.
Yeah, Fauci said Trump hasn't been to a COVID meeting with those guys
Yeah.
in so long. He don't even know what he looked like.
Yeah, they don't even
He,
have it anymore. They don't have COVID meetings anymore. What
no.
did the press secretary say yesterday or just a couple of days ago?
Oh
He
yeah.
said that no, we're not even trying to fight it anymore. He goes, we're not messing with it anymore. It's going to pretty much run its course, kill it. The herd mentality is in full effect. So you
It is.
may see a couple 100,000 people. Russia has a mask mandate.
Yeah.
South Dakota or North Dakota, one of the Dakotas, the largest spread. Guess where the what was that Sturgis
At
was?
bicycle
All
when they
those
had that
people, two hundred fifty
motorcycle
thousand
run.
people in Sturgis at the motorcycle rally, laughing, talking about no, nothing's gonna happen. Now you have the hot spot is in your area. I wonder why.
You brought it
I
down
wonder why.
exactly.
Yeah,
And it's cold.
yeah,
And
that's
they
sad. It's
get
sad.
it's
Simple
it's
facts.
amazing. Uh and one of my things I'd like to see what your opinion is on this. Let's
Yeah.
say for all practical purposes, Donald Trump loses next Tuesday.
Hmm.
What is the country gonna be like until he get out of office by January the 20th?
First
That
off, what makes you think he's gonna leave office January 20th?
yeah, well, I'm not even
That's what.
saying that.
So
I'm
that's
just
that's
saying
the first.
that's the first part.
So
That's
that's
the
called the
first.
lame duck. That's the lame duck session. That period
Yeah.
of time after you get voted out, they call that
So
the
I'm
lame duck
wondering,
session. What?
yeah, because he might not leave. I like what Bill Maher said the other night. It was amazing saying like, so Bill Maher said like, well, I told people in 2016
He
that
did.
Donald
He
Trump was
did.
going to win, and I remember him saying that. He said Trump's going to win. He said, but now I'm saying he's going to lose. But it was just like you said, that but.
Yeah.
He said, here's what Trump has done. everything that the Constitution and administration and say the presidency, some of the things are just on a truth factor.
Self-evident. That's what it says in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Constitution. These truths are self-evident.
yeah. But then they have this little thing like it's an honor system. When you
Mhm.
become president, it's not written down that you have to show your taxes. Everybody just voluntarily done it. So he said, "Well, it's not written down nowhere." He said, "Here's the way Donald Trump's going to do next Tuesday." He said, "Take for instance, it's a game of football, and it's time for you to kick a field goal. I mean, to kick a extra point."
Yeah.
He said, "So you go and you bring out a mule and let the mule get ready to kick." And they were saying like, "You can't use a mule." Say, "You don't have anything to say." I can't.
In the rule book,
He
it
said,
doesn't say nothing.
and that's what he's gonna do.
Mhm.
He's gonna find whatever's not written down, and he's gonna use that because nothing. I think if we just get past him in another week or so, all the things that wasn't written down before, they will be written down now because he
I'll be
said
locked
because
in.
we're gonna lock him in because it's gonna be some smarter Trump type people who are
Yeah.
gonna run, and they're gonna be a lot smarter, a lot craftier, and know how to manipulate uh, the system better
Mhm.
than Donald Trump. And those are the people in the future we're going to have to worry about because they're gonna look at this 4 years right here,
Mhm.
and it's just gonna be just like uh, a team looking at a film session on what to
Mhm.
do against your opponent or what you're going to do against the defense, what would allow you to get away with. That's what we have going forward. But I don't even know we're going to get to go forward until we actually see his ass out of office. Man, because this voting system and this and the way they doing the voting, look how many ballots they have thrown away. How can Texas have like 40 million people and only got one drop box in the whole state?
Mhm.
I mean, like, how you get away with that?
Yeah. And
Uh,
each county had one. Then they're talking about the county where Houston is. They got one with like 4 million people, and then
yeah,
some other little county that has 100 people, 100 some people in a rural area. They're gonna give them one box too. So that's dumb. That's
this is
horrible.
I like I was reading this article from Kareem today, and he made such valid points. He said like actually this election is really not about Republican or Democrat.
Mhm.
He said it's actually about seeing if we can't get somebody with some kind of character, some kind of moral compass to
Yeah.
try to get us back to at least where we were. Because we still have a long way to go. It's a lot of what Trump has done for me personally to just really show how far we have to go. Uh, because in this country, we can see that that divisiveness is if it was like, oh, we don't believe in that, you would see more people. I mean, it's a lot of people up in arms, but you wouldn't have people standing out in the cold supporting everything this guy say
Yeah.
if they didn't believe in what he was saying or they support his idea.
He ripped the scab off of what people were thinking about. Even though
Uh,
we have our friends that now on social media that I kind of don't associate with, if you're just way out there, right? If you can have a conversation about something, we can discuss and dispute. We're good. But you got people that are just, they go out in left field and they promote all these QAnon conspiracy theories and stuff like that about lizard people, about
Drinking
Pizzagate,
blood.
all these stuff, and all that stuff that they're talking about, the drinking blood and all that. Those are the things that he pulled the scab. This stuff was here already. It
Yes,
was just
it was.
hiding. People, they weren't under those hoods. They weren't under those hoods anymore. They
No,
were under these red hats now, and they're coming out the woodwork about, they're not another lot of more militias out there, and they're
a lot
they're
more.
really they're really going to say, well, I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to go look at my poll. I'm going to carry my gun out there. What's going to happen on election day? That's the thing I think is the
It's
biggest
gonna
the
be, it's
biggest
gonna be
non
scary.
unknown is that what's going to happen with all these polling places, even in Michigan, where there's a lot of militia, and in the upper Midwest. I think that's going to be really interesting. Out here in Cali, we probably won't see too much, but I think more in the South and up in the Midwest, I think
Yeah,
those
South
in
and
those
Midwest.
areas you may have some.
I was reading today. They said the five worst. uh, states that's going to have to really be putting a lot of focus on: Michigan,
Yeah,
Wisconsin, Georgia, Florida. Who else was it? Oregon, and Cali was probably like eighth or ninth.
yeah,
As for as you know what? Because once you get out in certain sections of Cali, once you get out in the Hemet and out there in Palmdale and Lancaster, and you know, I don't know how often you have visited out there. I, for the last 4 or 5 years, I had a chance to actually go to those areas that I otherwise wouldn't have any reason to go out that way. Because it's kind of like, man, it's high desert. The homes, everybody's like, uh, like your nearest neighbor might be, you know, 4 or 5 miles down a gravel
yeah.
road. I never, I was just kind of blown away.
Dirt roads, the dirt roads
Yeah,
out there, right?
yeah, it's really rural out there, and so you got a lot of good old boys out there. So when you start to think, because people are so afraid of of, of being left behind,
Yeah,
because now you don't have. I mean, like Stevie said, like Stevie Wonder was saying, like, what do you think going to happen to a hungry man? They're going to fight. They're going to be just like,
yeah,
they're going to be trying to take theirs and take
yeah.
yours too because they don't have this. And then you got somebody that has emboldened them
Mhm.
to the point of where you would stand by. That he didn't tell them we shouldn't be doing this. He never said that.
Yeah.
He didn't even admit about the militia when they were trying to kill the governor of Michigan.
No,
Other day he said like,
first
well,
they lock her up.
yeah, it's like it was our fault.
Yeah,
And then he said, well, maybe they were bad or maybe they weren't. We don't know.
yeah.
I'm saying, but I think they were trying
We
to
all
kill
knew.
her.
We all knew. Man.
So this is going to be something different for the United States.
Mm.
Um, I'm really kind of like, uh, I see in Dallas they have, is it Dallas? I think it's Dallas. They have already activated over 1,000 National Guard to be at the polling places.
Yeah.
So
Oh
I'm
shit.
thinking, well, and I've also heard that even LA sheriffs and stuff, they've been going into a lot of serious different type training, getting ready for this. So
Yeah.
I don't think this is going to be an easy uh, transformation of power,
Yeah.
whether he whether he get in or he don't get in. Because if he does get in, it only need 3 seats to flip the Senate.
Yeah.
So and if the Democrats are running the House and the Senate, even if he get in,
Yeah.
he. But you know what he would do? Because he's a bandwagoner. All those people thought he was a diehard Republican. If
Mhm.
the House is ran by the Democrats and the Senate,
Mhm.
you'll be saying like, "Wow, I didn't know he was a Democrat." Because this is what he would
No, he was a
do.
Democrat. He was a Democrat
Yeah,
before.
like up until
People forget.
2016.
Yeah,
Yeah, because
people forget.
he said like, if I ever run for president, I'll run as a
That's a
Republican
Republican.
because he said because they'll believe anything the Fox News say. And he only really interviewed with Fox News because you see what he done
Yeah.
to Leslie Stahl. He
Yeah.
walked out on her. I ain't listening to that shit no more.
That was that was the 60 Minutes interview.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He be
You know
like,
what? She
no,
said, Are you ready for some hard questions? He said, no.
no, we don't do hard questions. He said, Jesus,
Too hard.
president.
And then all of a sudden he flips it. Well, how come you didn't ask Joe those questions? He
Yeah,
said,
what
I
is
haven't
Joe
even
gonna
asked you
do?
no questions yet. I just asked you to be
Yeah.
ready for it. Man,
So
this guy such the thinnest skin. Um, yeah, I mean, he grew up with a silver spoon in his mouth. Everything he touches, he messes up. Everything.
everything.
The steaks, the school, the clothing line, the ties, the waters. I mean, you can go on for everything. The miles, casinos, all these things that he messed up, that he
And
went
people
bankrupt
still,
on. And now look at the country. Granted, and I'll give him this, he was riding the coattails of the economy, which was going up
yeah,
since Obama and Biden. If you look back at the previous 8 years, you'll see that it's a constant increase up until he decided not to do anything about COVID. Because I
yeah,
really think that, and even though he wants to spin it, it came out recently by Jared Kushner his brother or his son-in-law. He said,
His
well,
sister-in-law.
he said, yeah,
His daughter-in-law right there.
he said, yeah, he said, well, you know what? The governors can own the shutdown, but we're going to own the opening up. We're going to push to open up the states. You're the leader of the United States, all of them.
All of
You
them.
had
All
no
50
plan.
states.
Your plan, which failed miserably, was to let the states figure out what they want to do. And at the beginning, I do remember there wasn't a lot of personal protective equipment. There wasn't a lot of the respirators and stuff. Eventually, they came and we did have them, and it was sent out, and everything was fine. But it took a while to get there. But the plan was, out of Jared's own mouth, was that, you know what, we're going to let them figure it out pretty much. And then when it comes down to being the savior, Donald Trump was going to ride in and save the day.
Like on a big fight.
And it got out of control. It got out of control. You have 250,000 people dead, 230,000 as of today, dead. And he's not talking about it today on the stuff. He's talking about other things.
Yeah.
Why won't we talk about that? That's a disservice and disrespect to every person and every family member that's died of that, because he needs to be really having that conversation and say, you know what, I apologize, and you need to be humble. This man has not one humble bone in his body, and that's the part that upsets me, and the part that the decency, the common decency, is not there. You don't see it. You don't see it.
You know what? Actually, when you just when I just listened to you talk about how he was raised and he was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, but everything he touched turned to shit.
The silver spoon rusted.
Yeah. And you know what? And look, when he stepped into the White House, he had a great economy. All he had to do was build upon it.
That's it. Let it go.
And then when he got COVID, they left him the blueprint of what to expect for a pandemic. Out of all the countries, we should have never had this kind of casualty. We should not be leading the nation in the world in deaths. There's no way.
Yeah.
And so now, because Mary, his niece, that this guy, he just like his dad, you can't show any weakness. If you show any semblance that you kind of like, think like, oh, I made a mistake, that's not
you don't apologize. You don't apologize.
You don't apologize, and you need to just be yes people around him. And that's what he has gotten his whole life. And he screwed up everything. I mean, like, this guy's like $410 million in debt. How you get 410 million?
420. I know it was 420. For some reason, that number sticks in my head.
I bet you did 420.
Yeah, it's 420.
You know what? When I looked at they were saying his dad gave Donald Trump, when he was 2 years old, he was making about $200,000 a month. When he got to be 6, his dad, when he got to be 6 or 10, he got all these apartment complexes given to him. This guy he was just, and when he went to military school, he didn't last long in there. And then,
why are you gonna go to military school when you don't want to go in the military?
And he wasn't gonna go. He got how many? 5
shin splints. What was it? Or
bone spur.
Bone spur.
Yeah. And when you asked him, he was saying like, "Oh, it was something wrong with my foot." He don't even know what it was that got him out. So, I mean, it's almost like, what do you expect for this country to be like when you have someone like that in charge?
Yeah. What do you expect?
Yeah, and it's not like, I don't think he understood how this worked, because he's lazy. He's lazy to a certain degree. You know what? I just say do it, and I don't care what you say. This is the way I feel. I'm trying to think of this guy, the very successful guy, and I was reading his story. Can't recall his name now, but he had this company that he started, and he had this great idea. So what he did was, he said some people will go to MIT and just get the top person in that field and hire them. He said, but what he did was, he said he hired the top 5 or 10 of them from that field. And he said, I just sat back and let those guys work. And then I would listen to all their opinion. And I was thinking like, you know what? Because all of them had great opinion. He was
Hmm.
just you know what?
Yeah.
Let's try Phillips and see if his work. And but he's going to get the credit
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he did his homework. He hired people that know more about what he was trying to do than he did.
Yeah.
Donald
And that's
Trump
part of
thinks,
it. You
and
have to
that's
know what you know, and you have to surround yourself with people that know more than you. And he wants to be the person that knows everything. He wants to be. That's why
everything.
he. That's why he puts these doctors out. That's why he puts the doctors
Yeah,
out, and only wants to be the one that. I know more than the generals. I know more than the doctors. Who else? I know more than anything about it. I know more
scientists.
about the economy. I'm the only one who can fix it. Remember those words?
I'm the only one who can fix it. Can nobody fix it but me.
Yeah.
And that's his whole attitude.
Yeah.
That's why he and Melania don't sleep in the same bedroom
Yeah.
because he can't fix shit.
He can't fix it. He can't fix it for her. But no, but even talking about the economy, remember back in 2016 when he talked about, he tries to control the narrative. What he does,
Yeah,
he says, "Oh, the economy's broke. The economy's this and that." But every sign shows the economy was in a constant growth since
before he
before he
came
got
on.
into office until. So now you fast forward to 2020. Remember this? Remember all the things were happening in the streets, and he was like, "Oh, this is Biden's America." No, fool, you're still the president. Remember that? He
Yeah,
tries to control the narrative, and then what he does is tells his people that look at this is what's going to happen. And what they do is they fail to realize that this is the guy that's
you
president
know,
right
yeah,
now. Is actually this is under your watch. So even with Biden in his rallies and his conversations with the people and his closing remarks before the election, he's trying to unify. And he's like, you know what? And this is what I like about him. Again, common decency, common courtesy, just a respectful person. I'm going to be the mayor, the president of everybody. The people that voted for me, the people that didn't vote for me. I'm your president if you vote for me. And that's the decency, the common decency that the country needs to get back to the normalcy. Now that we know what's underneath the surface, it's good to know that's underneath the surface because
yeah.
you're not going to
Because
fool
you
us
know what?
anymore. All the
It's
senators who are voting for him, backing him up with everything, you got to go.
you gotta
And
go.
I think
Why do
that's
you
going to
think
happen.
Lindsey Graham is crying? Why do you think Mitch McConnell is not afraid of his losing his seat? You
Well, look,
know,
he's losing the color of his skin on his hands. You saw him the other
yeah,
day.
man. I know you want to be black, but bro, you ain't gotta go do this. That's not
Yeah,
that's
it didn't
not
look good.
right.
I don't know. He
It's
probably
like
got beat up. He probably got beat up or something. I don't know what happened.
it don't look right. But
Yeah,
all of these guys, but now they want to jump ship,
yeah.
and it's like it's
Too late. Too late.
people are gonna forget that.
Don't.
And one thing I can say about that guy that spoke last night, Miles Taylor or whatever his name,
Yeah.
he said like,
Anonymous.
yeah, but he said like, he said, why didn't you come out earlier? He
Yeah.
said, if I'd have quit earlier, say 2 years ago, people would just blew that off because
Yeah.
they're just saying another male content, trying to sell a book and all that stuff. He said, but now it's like a week before election. And so I help people attention, which he does.
Hmm.
Because people, it's still a lot of people on the, it's
On
kind of
the
like
side.
surprising when I see people saying like, I haven't made up my mind yet.
Yeah.
I'm going like, I mean, like, how hard is this? I
No,
mean,
yeah.
like,
They
this
made
is
up
like,
their mind. They're made up their mind. They're made up their mind. They're part of those people that said this peel the scab off of people. These
yeah,
people holding their scab down.
yeah.
They
They
know
don't
who they're voting for.
they don't want to be that way.
Yeah.
You know what? And I've been I just saw Lil Wayne today saying he support Biden. So I'm thinking like, I mean, Trump. I was like,
Trump, I
well,
would say.
yeah, he's supporting Trump. I said, well, he's not called Lil Wayne for nothing. What the hell? And
Yeah.
then I look at Ice Cube why he blew off Kamala
Yeah.
Harris and said he didn't want to have a Zoom conference with him because I want somebody going to do something. And I'm saying, excuse me, sir, aren't you about 45 years old and ain't never fucking voted? Like
Yeah.
you think this just happened like since Donald Trump been in office?
Yeah. All of a sudden he wants to be a voice for change. You can't be a voice for change when you haven't been around in 30 some years.
Yeah, I mean
You can't.
seriously, you can vote. I mean,
Yeah.
I've been voting ever since I was old enough to vote,
Yeah.
and I
Same.
vote in every election. I make sure my kids, my grandkids, you're gonna vote. I don't hear that analogy. Well, your vote don't matter. My vote matter. I don't know about yours, but
Yeah.
my vote matters.
No, it
And if
does.
you don't vote, you don't have shit to say because everything must be fine in your world.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
I
yeah,
was
and
really
that's
kind of
that's a bad part. Where were they like Snoop? Where were you in 2008?
Yeah,
Where were you at Cube in 2008?
where was
Oh,
Shaq?
I, Shaq too, yeah.
I
But
mean,
Shaq,
come on,
who
bro.
knows? He might have been somewhere else after.
Yeah,
Eddie
but I'm
McCloud.
saying like, but like, and there is no excuse. But you
Yeah,
know what? I think they felt in. Unfortunately, a lot of those people they they are rich,
yeah.
but they're not wealthy.
No,
I don't know how if they know how to distinguish that. Like if somebody is signing a check for you, you just making a good income.
that's it.
It's that person that signed your
Nice
check.
check. Yeah,
That's the one you want to be.
yeah. And they're trying to associate with them. They're just trying to associate with them.
Yeah. And when I looked at Ice Cube and then I saw the people that like his manager or somebody he signed with under whatever label he's under.
Yeah.
This guy, from what I read, I don't know if it's true or not, but his best friend is Steve Bannon. What is that
Yeah,
telling you?
well, that's what it is. That's what it is. They got money
Yeah.
coming in. What did 50 Cent said? Trump offered him 500,000 to support his campaign.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if that. I'm almost positive that's exactly what happened to Kanye.
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
sure that
yeah.
happened to Kanye. They broke him off something to do this little put your name on the ballot to try to peel off some of the vote. That's what happened, man.
And
That's that's
then
that's,
and then you
that's
come back and
unfortunate,
try to
but that's
justify it.
yeah.
You can't come back and justify it.
Mhm.
And you can't come talking to me and try to convince me, well, I got all this money. I
Mhm.
know more than you know. I'm not
Yeah.
saying you don't know more than me, but I'm saying I know something. And I know you've been stupid for 35, 40 years, so you didn't vote.
You should have. Where
I
were
know
you?
that. Like
Yeah.
there ain't no excuse for that. Because
Yeah.
when you vote, you need to go up and down that ballot,
Hmm.
like, and then I
What's
see
going to
how they,
benefit you? Yeah.
yeah, and I see how they hijack stuff. Take the Tea Party when they started. You know, first I was in like Tea Party, and then I understood their acronym, tax enough already, which we
Yep.
are. We're overtaxed on everything.
Yeah.
But
California, especially. Yeah.
yeah, but what happened is those guys they got a cause and they need to find some way to segue in there to get some of their things done. They will boost those kind of organizations because a lot of them don't have money. They have a great idea, and then
Yeah.
it's almost like a 501c. You can be president of 501c, but once you start accumulating a board,
Mhm.
and Papa John,
Yeah.
it was his
Hmm.
pizza,
I
typical
don't care. I
example.
don't care if it's your name.
Yeah, we're gonna keep your name,
Keep
and
your
you don't
name.
have,
Keep
and
you.
you're gonna be gone
We're bringing in
because
Shaq.
yeah,
Say we're bringing in Shaq. He don't vote, but he's gonna do a
we'll
piece.
bring him in. He got a good name, and he can sell pieces for us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
All right. Well, you know what? We're about at that point. I know it went by quick.
yeah, that was a good one.
But talking about what's gonna pop off next week. What's happening next week, Mr. Willie? Talk about it.
Tuesday's gonna be uh Tuesday's gonna be our awakening.
It's gonna be a surprise.
Yeah. Are we gonna be awoke or are we
Yeah.
gonna be put to sleep?
Yep. Mm.
And so you're going to have to choose. And all I can say, if you haven't voted, go vote. Just
Yeah.
all we can do to make things very uncomfortable for this guy is just vote and don't even let it be decided by the electoral college. Just vote his
Yeah.
ass out. So vote, and then we'll holler at you on Tuesday.
Yeah.
So that's
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
you think so? I think what's happening is I think that Woodward, who did that book, who keeps coming out with these
Yeah,
recordings.
Woodruff.
I
Yeah,
think he might have one more. I think he might have one more little recording coming out, maybe on Sunday.
yeah. Cause
Sunday, maybe Saturday.
so
Maybe
I brought
Saturday.
out Jared. So we'll get on
Yeah.
Jared
Jared
and
just came
and
out.
yeah, and let's get Jared and what Woodruff's gonna say on Sunday, and then we'll discuss that on Tuesday.
And what if he has?
On
What if he has
Thursday,
a? What if he has a Ivanka talking? Maybe he's talked to Ivanka. Maybe he interviewed everybody. Who knows?
yeah,
It's gonna come. And I don't know what, but I think there may be one more shoe to drop with
I,
Mr.
I think
Woodward.
it
But
is.
yeah,
I think
but
we
we'll
got
see what
that
happens. I
Tuesday,
think.
and
Mhm.
then we'll see what happens to Don Jr. because it's a shoe dropped on him on his ex soulmate girlfriend. She had a lot of dirt, so we'll hold that one too. And then
Yeah,
come Thursday. you know what? It's gonna be the days of our lives.
Yeah, we're gonna see what happens, man, because we got a show. You tune in on Thursday.
Yep.
That's gonna be a good one. Thursday the
Oh, it
5th.
should be
We'll be back.
very interesting. Yeah.
Back.
So,
All right. So that's it. Well, thank you all. Peace out, Mr. Willie. Appreciate it. It's always good talking to you.
and next thing
we'll
you know,
holler at you next week.
and make sure you be fed.
Yeah, Fetty. Stay Fetty.
Fuck everybody and do you.
If you ain't Fetty, you ain't ready.
You good. Peace, brother.
All right, peace.
Peace.